Hello. Hello. Hey. Just getting set up here on Facebook and Instagram. How you guys doing? All right, so I am, first of all, today's not Wednesday. Today is definitely Thursday. But thank you for joining me, guys. We're going to be talking about social media engagement that leads to community building. So, and when I mean by community building on your social media platforms and off your social media platforms. So, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those into the chat or the comment section, and I'll be going through um, comments as I am talking to you guys as well. So, hello. Thank you all for joining. Okay, so let's get down to it, guys. One of the top questions that I receive all the time is how do I increase my social media engagement? Um, so I think first of all, we need to back it up and talk about why do you even want to increase your social media engagement? What's the goal? What's the end goal? So I encourage my clients to build communities around their products and their services, especially if they want longevity in their business. So it's not so much more just about getting the engagement, but what's the end result or the goal behind that, right? And the goal would be to build your community and to, of course, increase your brand awareness and brand authority. But if you really want to increase your social media engagement, here are a few tips. And if you're watching me on Facebook or you're watching me on Instagram, you can also ask platform specific questions if you have those. So, the first thing, you yourself have to actually be engaging, right? That's the first thing. And I mean that in both the sense of being tuned into your audience and also engaging with others. You can't expect people to engage with you if you don't engage with them. So, for all of y'all who are, hey Shiva, who are ignoring your followers and who are like, y'all see the comments coming through and y'all just like, that's not going to help you build your community, right? You also need to research and find your target market and your ideal clients on whatever platform that you are on, right? And engage with them. So actually look at their content, leave meaningful comments, and take a genuine interest in what they're doing or what they're saying, right? So, like you guys, if you have clients, it'll be easy to find clients that look like your existing clients, right? Or people who you see their content, you feel like, oh yeah, they'd be a good fit for my product or my service. Let me see what they got going on, right? So you would look at their content and you would then leave a comment. Oh, hey, someone on Facebook. Hey, Rachel. So you would leave a comment, right? That's meaningful, meaning you've taken the time to read the post or read or watch the video or whatever it is, and say something that's actually of value, not just leaving a heart or like some random emoji, right? Actually show them some love by showing that you've actually like taken the time to take an interest in what they've actually put. Um, and this is not just anybody, right? You're not just going to random people's profiles that you're like, oh, let me just do it for anybody that comes up in my feed. No, these are people who actually would be a good fit for your product or your service, right? So this is not the anybody club. This is people who would be a good fit for your brand community. And then, of course, like I said, don't ignore people. If people are liking your content, if they're sharing it, if they're commenting, please do comment back. Have the conversation. That's what engaging is all about. So when I'm engaging with with either my ideal clients profiles or people who are already in my brand community, already clients, I am actually asking questions, right? Questions are my favorite way of engaging, and I would encourage you all to do the same. Asking questions, keeping the conversation going, not just heart like smiley face, right? That's not really engagement. I mean, yes, it's showing them some love, but at the end of the day, social media wants us to be social. So be social, ask questions, and actually take a genuine interest in what they have shared, or what they're saying to you, even if they're commenting on your posts, right? Um, the other thing I would say is set aside time to actually engage with people, right? Set aside the time to engage. I know social media is a lot, and the key here is consistency, right? No one's saying, I know some of the gurus are telling you to post like 5, 6, 7 times a day. First of all, that's not realistic, right? What are you doing if you're posting 6 or 7 times a day? I mean, it's just not realistic for the average person. So, really, starting out 2, 3 times a week is okay, right? And so just as long as you're consistent with that schedule, and then you increase as you're able to. But posting like once a week here, and then you do like 5 times the next week, and then like no times, that's not consistent. So pick a frequency that is consistent and that will work for you, and stick to that for, I'd say, at least 30 days until you feel comfortable. And then maybe you can increase the frequency if that feels good for you. But you should also set aside the time to engage after you're posting. So if we're talking about increasing our engagement to build community, when you're posting, and if you're posting and looking at your analytics, and you're posting at the time where your audience is going to be seeing your posts, then most likely when they see it, if you have your target audience nailed down, they're going to start to engage with you, right? They're going to start to ask questions, like, share, comment. You should have that time set aside to be able to do the same, engage back with them, and also engage with other accounts. I just set the time aside, like maybe like 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening. And that's my time for engagement, right? So I would recommend doing that for yourself. Don't just post and ghost, right? That's not a good, not a good strategy. Posting and ghosting it kills the conversation, right? Think about if you were like talking to somebody and they just all of a sudden just walked away. You sitting there with the stuck face, like, wait, we were just having a conversation. What happened? Right. So some things have to happen in the moment. And so if you're having a good conversation and that person's your ideal client, then that's a good time to transition to DM, right? So this is a good segue into the no cold DM. I am a no cold DM person. Like, please, like, do not slide in someone's DM and be like, hey, you seem like a good fit for my product or service. Here's what I offer. And then you just like list out all the things. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's not what we're asking for, right? So you really want to start to build a relationship, cultivate a relationship. Ask them how they are. Like, think about if you're having a conversation and you're talking to someone like you met on the street. It'd be like, hey, how you doing? How's business? Or something like that. Or, I see that you're doing XYZ. A lot of times I'll pick the post that's like not not business related, and then talk about that first. Because honestly, people like to talk about themselves, and it's not like a selfish or a self-serving thing. They just do. So I typically pick something that's probably not business related and talk about that because it's typically interesting. Like, I find something that's interesting to me to talk about. And then, we can kind of see like where they are, how things are going, and then maybe, kind of ask them. Maybe you have a resource. This is where your freebies come in. Maybe you have a resource that can help them, right? And then you just kind of keep the conversation going periodically from there. You're nurturing people in your brand community. That's really how it's done. And then I always say quality over quantity. Like, again, with the hearts and the emojis, leave meaningful comments. It's much, much better than just doing that on everybody's profile and then like disappearing. Um, and then also the last tip I would give is making people feel welcome when they do follow you or they do join your brand community, whether that's on or off social media. Be sure to connect with them. So, like, just like I'm going live today, I'm connecting with folks who are in my brand community. So go live, talk to people, use stories. Stories are also a great way to increase engagement to build your community. Like, ask questions in there. Also, that's a great way to show more of your the personal side to you and your personality, so that everything is not in your feed. Because when people are landing on your social media profile, they should be able to tell exactly what it is that you do, right? Like, they shouldn't have to guess. And if, like, for my Instagram folks who are joining me now, if your top 9 are like dog and cat pictures, but you're like I don't know, you're a VA. How do I know that? And then for my folks on Facebook, if I'm scrolling through your feed and like all I see are cats and dogs, I'm like, well, this person must be a dog or cat groomer, pet groomer. I don't know, right? So think about it. Like if people can't get a good idea of what they do from landing on your profile, then maybe it's time to kind of switch that strategy up. But you still want to keep the engagement on your profile. So stories are a great way to do that. And I'm not, by no means am I saying don't post like personal things in your feed. I'm just saying maybe use the 80/20 rule so that people always have a good idea about what your business is about and how you help people, right? Right up front. It's like right there for them. Um, I'd like to use the questions feature, the poll feature in stories so that you can ask questions and get direct feedback from your audience. That's really helpful. And then also, I feel like it shows that you care. I like to ask, like, what do you guys want to hear me talk about next, or what do you guys want to hear about? What do you guys want to learn about? I can do that through stories. So just some tips there to encourage community building, encourage your audience to connect a little bit more with you. Plus, you guys can see me. I'm a real person showing up live. This is how I am. This is how I work. So you kind of have that connection with your brand community when you do that. So again, let's recap on the tips to help increase your engagement that also lead to community building. The first is you yourself be engaging and stay tuned into what your audience is doing and return the favor, engage with them. The second is to, do a little research in your target market and, find out what's important to them, what's going on, and leave meaningful comments and connect with them also too in their messages in the DMs, like when it's appropriate, not just right off, right? And then don't ignore people. If people are liking, commenting, sharing, acknowledge that they're doing that. So have the conversation with them on the feed. You can also send them a message, let them know, hey, thanks for liking my post, thanks for sharing my post. And you can also with Instagram, you can pin comments to the top and that sort of thing. Set aside time to engage with your audience. Don't just post and ghost, right? Make sure you're actually responding to comments, answering questions if people are asking questions, also engaging with your messages. And if it's like a long thing, voice notes are a great way. I didn't say it's right off, but like voice notes are a great way to connect with people in messages. Also, I like to do that because people actually hear my voice as well, so they know like I'm a real person. And then also quality over quantity, right? Quality meaning not just like hearts and emojis or all the emojis, but you're actually leaving meaningful comments and then make people feel welcome in your space that you are holding for them, right? So be sure to connect with them on lives, stories. It's just a great way to interact with your audience. So if you guys have any questions, I'm going to pause for questions and or comments. Thanks for sticking around and hanging out with me. Any questions or comments, guys, about social media engagement that leads to community building? Anything at all? So whether you're watching this live now or later, always feel free to DM me. If you're on Facebook, watching me on Facebook, then you can DM me at iSimplyShe. And if you're watching me on Instagram, then you can DM me at I_simply_she. Would definitely love to hear from you all, or you can shoot me an email, info@isimplyShe.com. All of these are accessible in my profiles, so you don't have to necessarily write it down. You can just click and you will be able to get in contact with me. What else, guys? What else we got going on? Oh, so tonight I'm actually hosting a masterclass. It's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's called the Magnetic Messaging Masterclass. And in that class, we're going to be going over how to message your offer to your ideal client, right? How to stand out, from the rest of the noise out there on the internet and really connect with the folks that you can best help. So really focusing on that question of what problem do you solve and for whom, and how do you tell them about it? So that's 8 p.m. Eastern. The link to register for the masterclass is in my bio on Instagram. And on Facebook, you can visit slayhardeveryday.co. And I'll also drop the link in the comments when I'm done with the live. And then the last thing, guys, is if you guys are having trouble with what to post on social media, you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know like what to post. I'm struggling. Um, can't really narrow down or plan out your content because of that. I do have a free training. It's called the Find Your Content Pillars training. It's about 10 minutes, like a 10-minute video and a worksheet. And that should help clarify how you can start to create your content. So if you're interested in that, you can just shoot me a DM. You can just, the DM can say content pillars. You can DM me the words content pillars, and I will send you over the free training. So, guys, that's it. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today on Facebook and Instagram. And I will see you guys later. And remember, you too can conquer if you slay hard every day. Take care, guys, and happy Thursday.